Hi, I'm Steve, the Introverted Traveler. I've made it my mission in life to explore the beaches, deserts, mountains, and even cityscapes around us, and to do so while avoiding contact with as many people as possible. And although I will never hang out with you for any reason, I do invite you to join me on my journey. Come and see the world through the eyes of an extreme introvert. On this edition, we are back in the woods for part 2 of our exploration of the Indian Heaven Wilderness. This time around, we are on the trail to Lemei Rock, near the town of Trout Lake in Washington State. Along the way, we will see beautiful blue lakes, cool geology, and breathtaking volcanic views. All this and much more on this Introverted Travels. Greetings, and I'm back yet again on yet another adventure. And today is the very end of September. It is fall, and I am deep into the forest, and deep, apparently, in the fall colors. You may know that I have been whining and complaining about being in the forest for like the past 3 or 4 videos. I'm burned out. All I've seen all summer is forest, trees, green, ferns, leaves, etc., etc. And where am I today? Forest, trees, green, leaves, fall colors, more leaves, bark, etc., etc., etc. So I can't cut a break because I'm in the Pacific Northwest, and about 99.9% of the Pacific Northwest is covered in green stuff. Today, I am actually, I believe, on a view hike. I am headed on the Lemei Trail to Lemei Rock here in Indian Heaven Wilderness, which is right next to, this should come as a shock, I'm right next to a volcano. More specifically, I'm right next to beautiful, wonderful Mount Adams. Okay. You know where I am. That's the part of the formula where I establish where I am, and I complain and whine about, green, bark, leaves, etc., 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 etc. Now here's the part where I make fun of All Trails. All Trails claims this is 8.5 miles. That means it is closer to, 9, 10, 11, or maybe even infinity, because, I wouldn't put it past All Trails to break all of mathematics and the laws of physics. Why do I say that? Say it with me, because All Trails sucks. And now, the meat and the potatoes, so to speak, of the video. And by the way, this is my second take of this section of the introduction section. I was taking the shot down the trail, and the forest was angry. The wind was blowing, and I just kept hearing like weird banging noises. And it was either a Bigfoot, because of course, or B, the trees were about to fall on my head. So I moseyed on down the trail, and now I'm trying again. So, meat and potatoes. I am down a very long logging road off a very long highway that stretches deep into the woods. So basically what I'm saying by describing that is I'm in the middle of freaking nowhere. And guess what? The trailhead was almost full. And by almost full in this particular case, I mean that there were like 7 cars. That's not including me. So, quick introverted math, 7 times 4. There could be almost 30 people out here. In the middle of the woods. 30 people, an angry forest, and possibly Bigfoot. That's too many damn people, too many damn angry forests, and too many damn Bigfoots. But at the moment, I am alone in the woods, ranting into my GoPro, and nothing threatening has come out of the bushes to try to eat me yet. So, that's it. I mean, I could go on and on and on and make joke after joke, but I'm pretty sure the longer I stand here, the more likely I am to be crushed by a falling tree or, my head ripped off by a Bigfoot. So, let's avoid death by trees and death by Bigfoots. And let's just get going, because All Trail sucks. You know where I am. There's a bunch of people out here. That's irritating and awful and terrible. I think I've said it all. So as far as I know, pine trees, which you see there, and 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 there, rinse, repeat, don't turn colors for the fall season. I might be wrong about that. I'm not a botanist. I'm not a tree fetishist. And I basically don't know anything about anything else other than, you know, a little bit of trivial knowledge about the X-Files and Star Trek. But what I will tell you is the forest is definitely showing its fall colors in the underbrush. There is yellow and orange and reddish orange and red and slightly less yellow and slightly green but kind of yellow. All sorts of fall colors going on out here. Not in the trees that we've already established are everywhere, but in the underbrush. You see that right in front of you. Underbrush right there. So I know a lot of you are super excited about fall, and, you know, a lot of you are very enthusiastic about it. And I like the fall. The fall is a very, you know, peaceful, cool, pretty time. But I think of the seasons kind of like a cycle of life. And in my perspective, it's a little bit more depressing than, ooh, hey, look at the colors. Ooh, let's go get some pumpkin spice. You know, I think of spring as, of course, the birth. Things are fresh. Things are new. There's baby animals. There's baby birds. There's baby people, unfortunately. Then summer is when life matures into what I will call, you know, seasonal middle age. So summer is around the time that metaphorical life will, you know, shave its head, get a GoPro, and start ranting about how it hates all other life around it and doesn't like anything. So that's summer. Summer is the middle age season. Fall, which is, of course, the season we're in now, is akin to life has now passed through middle age and is now on its hospital bed, on its deathbed. It's hooked up to the machines. It's wheezing. Its family is all around it, holding its hand. Its children are saying, please, please don't go. We love you. You know, and the machines that it's hooked to, it's beeping. It's going beep, beep, beep. And yet existence is slowly seeping out of life as it shuts its eyes for its final time and goes into that long, narrow tunnel of light that leads to the bleak despair of winter. And of course, you know, I view winter as just, you know, it's literally icy hell on earth. There's snow, there's people in snowsuits, there's ice, there's rain, there's fog, there's people in the ice, rain, fog, there's people. So yeah, in my opinion, you know, seasonal change is just a tad bit depressing. I mean, spring is great. Spring is renewal and hope. Fall is the last gasp before you die. So thinking about it that way, enjoy your pumpkin spice latte and may heaven have mercy on your soul as we head into the bleak despair of winter. Horror of horrors. I'm hearing people screaming through the woods, yelping and yipping and hooting. And I think I hear children. Send help. There's humans and younger humans out here. It was even worse than I thought. So the people that were making the whooping and the hollering and the children noises, they just passed me. There were like 10 children. It was like a freaking church group or scout troop or something awful from the depths of hell, something like that. There were children everywhere. There were adults everywhere. And the worst part of all of it, they talked to me. Heaven. I am literally out in the freaking middle of nowhere next to a giant volcano in the Bigfoot-infested woods of southern Washington. And there's people. There's a lot of people out here. Holy crap, I don't even know where they came from because there's not enough cars to fit that many children down there. But, having seen that many children walking on the trail, I would like to remind you that modern birth control is a very affordable and usable thing. There's pills, there's prophylactics, there's devices, there's also surgery. You can do a vasectomy, and you won't have to then bring 25 children into the world and march them down the same hiking trail that I'm on. I just passed a mother with her 5-year-old child, and the child was, bopping down the trail, making squeaking and peeping noises, or whatever the hell kids do. Did I miss a memo? Is it bring your children into the woods and annoy the bald introvert day? I mean, seriously. It's like a freaking preschool out here. Is this hell? Did I die and go to hell? I am going to head over in just a moment that way after, my long diatribe that, annoys everybody and makes probably little sense. I'm headed on the Lemei trail, and I think we're not headed towards Wapaiki Lake, but I think we'll see it because the trail kind of winds around and then, goes right next to the lake. But the reason I'm filming this is because I want to show you an example of what trail signs can look like when they're not covered in swastikas and, anarchy signs. I mean, look at that. It's clean. I think these marks were deliberate, although that could be graffiti, and I may be totally wrong, but, I mean, it fits the aesthetic of the sign, so I'm assuming maybe. But, yeah, it is possible, folks, to have trail markers and trail signs that have no neo-Nazi propaganda on it whatsoever. No weird symbols, no marks, nothing about your mom or your dad or whatever the hell people put on these signs. No, this just tells me that the Lemei Trail goes that way. It's number 34. The Wapaiki Lake Trail, number 34A, goes that way. I mean, it's conveying information concisely and clearly and in a easy to understand manner. No anarchy signs needed. No weird crude drawings. No penises and balls. None of that. None of that is needed on this sign. However, now the trees are angrily creaking at me, so I don't think they liked my rant. So, yeah, the signs are graffiti free, and the forest wants to kill me. So, I'm gonna go, but no swastikas. It's amazing. Well, this hike has officially gone up the deep end. It's officially jumped the shark. Why, you might ask? Well, aside from literally being like a kindergarten out here with every kid that was ever born in the state of Washington within the last 10 years, I just saw not one, not two, not three, not four. Oh, I wish it was four, but 5 trail runners all together running through this crap. Okay, I'm going to take a moment here and let you know that, yes, I know I make a lot of videos about trail runners, and almost every hike has a video about trail runners. Why do I have so many videos about trail runners? Because they're everywhere. They haunt the forests of the Pacific Northwest. I'm pretty sure they don't even have homes or houses or apartments. I think they literally just live in the woods and just sit and wait. They've got their little thin backpacks on. They're wearing their Air Jordans or their Nikes or whatever. I don't know what people trail run in, the shoes. And they're hiding in the woods. They literally live like right there. They live amongst the ferns and the bark. I'm pretty sure they're eating the barks and the berries and the Bigfoots and whatever else out here. Because the natural predator of the Bigfoot is the trail runner. They're actually the natural predator of everybody. But if you haven't seen my previous 5,000 rants about trail runners, I loathe them. I mean, yeah, I exaggerate a lot and I just pull stuff out of my butt and make everything up. But trail runners, at least in the Pacific Northwest, are the scourge of existence. They're dangerous, they're narcissistic, and they're just irritating. I mean, they're willing to push you off a cliff if it just takes 30 seconds off their mile. Oh. Yeah. So this is how Sunday's going. Some Sundays I'm doing dangerous stuff. Some Sundays I'm serene and in beautiful surroundings. And yes, it is beautiful out here. But there's children and trail runners. I'm just waiting for serial killers and aliens, and then the set is complete. I am starting to get glimpses of beautiful Mount Adams, which is a giant volcano. Now, normally I turn the camera around and say, hey, look, the beautiful volcano. But this is a views hike. Some hikes are waterfall hikes, some hikes are peak hikes. Well, we're going to go to this Lemei rock or whatever the hell it's called, and we're going to see some views. So I'm actually going to save the volcano, because right now there's like part of it visible. It's behind a bunch of trees. I'm going to save it until I get up to the rock. Now, I will say that there are clouds right above the volcano, because that's often what happens with volcanoes. And I just have a feeling that I'm going to get up there, I'm going to be able to see the wonderful views, and I'm going to show you this beautiful volcano, which is nothing more than a cloud sitting there. And you know that's going to happen. So in a few minutes, I will show you some beautiful volcanic clouds. I may show you some actual volcanoes too, but you've seen my videos. When does that ever work out? Well, here's some views I'm willing to show you now. Now, I realize I have no idea how to pronounce that lake. It's Wapiki or something like that, so I'll put it, right here. But that's beautiful. It's now under a cloud because the clouds are roaring up above me. But when the sun was hitting, it was like nice and turquoise, and it's beautiful. I mean, this whole entire wilderness. This is one of the first times I've been out here. I've actually been to Indian Heaven Wilderness before, in the video where I went to Red Mountain Lookout Tower. Oh, there you go. Look how beautiful that is with the sun shining on it. Blue and green, and look at that. But yeah, this is the first time I've really been in the Indian Heaven Wilderness, and I definitely see why it's called heaven. I mean, look at that. Aside from the fact it's full of like 1,000 people and 2,000 school children, but other than that, yeah, this is pretty heavenly. I feel like the forest is trying to eat me. Okay, this volcanic hellscape with, a wasteland full of boulders and rocks and debris and all that stuff, and there seems to be some kind of cavern over there. This is it. This is Lemei rock, or however it's pronounced. Right there. I think it's that looks rock-like to me. But yeah, check this out. This is really, really cool. And those clouds are moving. That's not like time-lapse or anything. That is literally how fast the clouds are moving. It is just absolutely amazing. Now, I promised you volcano, but unfortunately, it's over there, behind a bunch of trees. But there's some really good Sun's coming out again. There's some really good volcanic shots on the way back. So I promise you, you will see Mount Adams, or again, the cloud shaped like Mount Adams. But just give me a minute. I'll go back down the trail and I'll show you the volcano. You've waited patiently. You've listened to my rambling for, however long this video is, 2 hours or whatever it is. So you deserve volcano, and I will give you some volcano. But right now, I'm giving you Lemei or Lemei or whatever it's pronounced rock. And my butchering of all the names of the things out here. So, congratulations. This is beautiful. As promised, there you go. They're right there. That's Mount Adams. And actually, the clouds are moving so rapidly that I may actually be able to get the top of it at some point. But yeah, that's the volcano right there. So there's the lake where we saw earlier. That's the lake, and that's the volcano. So there you go. I mean, the rock itself, it was pretty, but it just left me off on a boulder field, because that's what All Trails does. All Trails either takes you out in the middle of the woods, or it leaves you in a volcanic hellscape to die, because All Trails is trying to kill you. We already know that. But yeah, that's the real star of the show right there. That is Mount Adams. It is a stratovolcano, much like Mount St. Helens. And actually, when you're on Mount St. Helens on a good day, you can see Mount Adams and Mount Rainier. And Mount Rainier's that way somewhere. See that tree right there? That's Mount Rainier. But yeah, that's Mount Adams right there. And it's absolutely beautiful. And yes, people do climb Mount Adams. And yes, I will probably climb Mount Adams at some point, but it requires an overnight stay. And do I look, I mean, I'm really delicate. Do you think I camp in a tent? Well, if I go over there, I'll have to. Now the clouds are like covering the complete top. So you got about 3/4 of Mount Adams. And I promised you were going to get some volcano views. So there you go. There's your reward for watching this ridiculous video. You get 3/4 of a volcano. Isn't that beautiful? Big news here on the trail, aside from the fact that I've only got probably about a mile and, a little over a mile and a half left on this hike. I found this laying on the side of the trail. Now, I will quickly open it and show you what's inside, or dump it on the ground as I'm trying to show you what's inside. Child's water cup, and now this is the real prize. An entire unopened bag of peanut butter M&Ms. Now, I don't normally eat candy, but I really don't know how I feel about trail candy, just mysterious candy I've found on the side of the trail. Now, it is unopened, and I can tell you, sitting on the side of the trail is no worse than however it was shipped to the store. But yeah, the forest gives and the forest takes away. Well, today it gave me a whole unopened bag of peanut butter M&Ms. I swear, I'm not the spokesman for peanut butter M&Ms. I don't even eat peanut butter M&Ms. The only time I ever eat any kind of candy is if the M&Ms are in trail mix. But yeah, mysterious weird trail candy and a child's sippy cup, basically. So, what are we going to do with these items? I'm going to do the responsible thing, and I'm going to pack it out and take it to my car, and definitely throwing away the cup and probably the bag, and I still don't know what I'm going to do with the mysterious trail candy. I'll keep you updated. I have just a little over a mile left until I get to the trailhead, and that means just a little over a mile until I get back to my car, until I get into my car, until I get the hell out of here. Now, I think would be a good time to do our trail rating. And as a reminder, and for those of you, and there are many of you who have never seen these videos before, we rate our trails on a scale of 1 to 10. It's an introversion scale, with a 1 being the worst possible thing ever for an introvert. It's introvert hell, and that is Disneyland on the 4th of July. And that's when you find out that the Matterhorn is actually itself a volcano. There's lava all over the park. There's explosions, boulders are flying, people in costume are on fire, children are screaming and demanding, expensive Mickey Mouse ears and churros and buckets of popcorn. Parents are desperately trying to hide their credit cards from the roving packs of costumed mascots. And it is, in general, chaos, destruction, and hell to every living thing, but especially to those of us who are introverted. Now, on the other end of the scale, at a 10, is an introvert's dream. Middle of a field in Antarctica, just you and your very well armed and trained sentient army of rabid, angry penguins. They're never going to hurt you because you are their commander. But if they see any other human, oh yeah, they have a taste for flesh. So, on a scale of 1, Disneyland on the 4th of July, to 10, a middle of a field in Antarctica with just you and the murderous human-eating penguins. This particular trail is probably about a 4. Now, for very long stretches of this trail, there was nobody out here. There was quiet, there was peace, there was solitude, and then all of a sudden, like thunder from the sky, there were 25 children just walking around, screaming, hollering, apparently dropping bags of M&Ms. So, in the moments where there was nobody here, this trail is great. And of course, I'm here on a Sunday. And all of my trails I pretty much do on a Sunday or on a weekend. So you're going to get weekend crowds. And unfortunately, weekend crowds means people. But if you come here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever, you might have a little bit different experience than I had. However, the experience that I had, there were people up at not the peak, but at the end of the trail. There were people in the bushes. There were people at the scenic lookouts. There were children. There were I saw trail runners. That's how bad it got out here. But because there were large stretches of peace and solitude, such as right now. I mean, I heard something crunching through the bushes earlier, but I'm hoping it wasn't a hiker trying to take a dump in the forest, but may have been that, or it may have been a murderous Bigfoot. I don't know. But because there's long stretches here where I did have solitude, my happiness and my alone time were not destroyed and smashed. I am going to give this, well, actually, let's settle on a 5. We'll give it a little bit of credit because this is a beautiful wilderness. I mean, look at this. Beautiful wilderness, beautiful forest, beautiful area. So I don't want to discourage people to come here, but I definitely want to discourage people to come here when I'm here. So that leads us to our, well, that leads me to filming right in the sun. That leads us to our misery index. Scale of 1 to 5, with a 1 being a complete and total pipe dream, and that's no misery. And we're measuring my personal misery, and I'm always miserable to one degree or another. So a 1 is not possible. It's complete fiction. And on the other end, a 5, which is the worst misery I could ever imagine. And for those of you who actually do watch my videos, you'll know that, I often destroy that scale and I go to like 5 quadrillion. I have to make up measured numbers. I'm so miserable. But today, yes, when I saw, 25 children marching by me, or I think it was like 10 children, but, in my mind, there was like 150. So when I saw them marching by, yes, I was at a 5. Most of this hike, I was at my default, which is about 2.5. So it hasn't been bad. It hasn't been that miserable. There have been people out here, unfortunately, and there has been hooting and hollering and trail running. But overall, it has not been a terrible experience. So we're at about a 5 on the trail rating. We're about a 2.5, let's just say a 3 on average on the misery index. I'm still meandering in the woods, but I'm almost done. So let me go meander in the woods and let me get done, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, so according to wonderful, beautiful, and never wrong in any way all trails, I have less than a quarter of a mile left until the trailhead, and thus less than a quarter of a mile left to my car. So I think that it is time for us to say goodbye. But before we do, let's do a quick recap. Today, I did the Lemei, I still not sure the pronunciation, trail up to Lemei or Lemei Rock. And along the way, we saw dense, beautiful forests, we saw mushrooms, we saw beautiful views, we saw a volcano in clouds, but we saw a volcano, we saw that beautiful, gorgeous lake, and unfortunately, we saw some not so wonderful people and a whole gaggle of kids. Not only that, I saw 5 trail runners. They were running together in like a pack, like they were freaking Borg from Star Trek in unison down the trail going, oh, I'm running. But for the most part, I had a lot of seclusion, I had a lot of quiet, I had a lot of peace, and overall it was beautiful out here. So it is time for us to say goodbye, and you know what's coming. Stay introverted, everyone, and I'll see you in the next adventure.